Hello, my name is Christian Martius, and this is Mercifully Short Stories, a podcast telling tales for the distracted, hyperactive, and noticeably absent. Episode 3 of Mercifully Short Stories contains a piece called Van Gogh's Bedroom in Toronto, which is written by me and read by the wonderful Janel Coe.
Van Gogh's Bedroom in Toronto. In my imagination, most people go to Amsterdam to get high or get laid. I like to think of myself as someone who is above such primitive desires. I went to Amsterdam for the art. Sure, I saw Rembrandt's Night Watch and Vermeer's Milkmaid for their exquisite lighting and rural charm, respectively. There were other paintings too, but they didn't find a way into my heart. Outside the galleries and museums, the city was a tourist trap, and inside, where the pictures beckoned, I had no meaningful emotions to offer. On the day before I flew back to Canada, I went to the Van Gogh Museum. Seeing Vincent seemed a bit unsophisticated because he's the go-to person in the canon, like a Beatles or Kerouac of the visual arts. The world's most famous Dutch painter never did it for me either. I'd been putting off a visit, but it was my last day in the city, and I had no intention of returning. There was a compulsion to get stoned and ride the trams, walk for a while, and maybe get on a bicycle. There was also a stronger feeling that I should go to the Van Gogh Museum. So I ended up at Museum Plein 6, 1071 DJ, Amsterdam, lining up with all the other Philistines. I even yawned at the cashier who gave me my ticket in an attempt to demonstrate my reluctance, more to myself than anyone else, before entering the building. I visited the sunflowers, the fields with the blackbirds and the warped night sky and Arles. They were all impressive. Thick globules of bright paint carved in either direction, textures overlapped and bled into one another, and the colors moved. These images transcended my memory of them in books. Soon, I renounced my prejudices. Painting after painting depicted frustration, anger, and anxiety. The bold brush or palette slashed at the canvases to build a vision, but also disclose the storm within. The violence of reality. Vincent van Gogh's reality was evident. Soon I was seeing and feeling the world through Vincent's eyes. I understood. The intensity of my own experiences outside the galleries and museums created similar violent realities. Vincent showed me my feelings too. We shared a vision. No one else seemed to be having the same experience. My fellow attendees would trot to their pictures and stand in front of them for a minute and then move over to the next one. Not to look at the paintings, but to consume them like mental check marks. For all the turmoil on display, it was the placid depiction of an interior that affected me the most. The bedroom, probably the most famous bedchamber represented in art, acted like an addendum to all that had been witnessed before. I could perceive the same undercurrents. The feeling of everything tipping into chaos. The possessed bedroom furniture and the skewed walls revealed the intrinsic unsteadiness to the world, but this was a peaceful place, a room meant for sleeping. The bedroom says reality is unreliable and on the point of collapse in every waking moment, but peace is also available if you want it. And Vincent said, despite the struggle, there can be a space for me where I can rest. The bedroom was the last painting witnessed. Nothing could follow its denouncement. I tried to purchase a reproduction in the gift shop, but the secondary images were expensive facsimiles with none of the power of the original. I left the Van Gogh Museum, and not long afterwards I also left Amsterdam. Maybe 6 months later in Toronto, just after Christmas, when the new year is still deciding what it should be, I found myself in a Salvation Army thrift store. I have a talent for finding gems and the detritus of former lives, and you'll often find me searching through coat hangers and pages in the tombs of the youths in the second hand. On one of the shelves that day, I found a version of Van Gogh's The Bedroom. It was the same size as the one in Amsterdam, but discolored to a shade of blue thanks to the unforgiving rays of the sun. The picture looked perfect, even with the marks of its decay. So I bought it. At home in my small bedroom, I hung the painting above my bed. Van Gogh's bedroom was now in my bedroom, like the portal to a refracted world, not too dissimilar to my own. At night, with this new talisman over my head, I could sleep deeply and at peace. In the morning, I could look over at the sun-bleached image and turn to face the world. Vincent's gift, imbued in the painting from over a century ago, lived on in my apartment. After many nights of Vincent van Gogh-assisted sleep, the painting decided to move. It was morning, and the light had crept into the room, illuminating small pockets of space. I could feel something heavy resting on me. The bedroom had decided to sit on my body together with its wall hook. While speculating if the picture was hung correctly, I also wondered why the arrival of this object hadn't awoken me. The canvas was face down, so I reached to check for damage to its painted front, but my fingers paused as my eye caught a small detail in the right-hand corner. The word Vincent, scrawled in the hand of someone not too contradictory to the original artist. Even in my sleepy state, I knew that this couldn't be an authentic Van Gogh painting, for despite the omittance of his surname, which Vincent didn't include due to trouble with pronunciation, I had seen his signature in the paint itself, often in odd places like the outside wall of a building or a flower pot. I also knew there were multiple bedrooms, 3 paintings, identical almost, in their rendition of the same room in the south of France. There couldn't be a 4th version. But as I stood precariously on my mattress, vainly attempting to return the painting to the wall, I wondered if there could be.
I hope you enjoyed this brief little story and it hasn't taken up too much of your time. More fleeting episodes of Mercifully Short Stories will be available for your instant pleasure soon.